You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network.
The secret to well-being is discovering the power that is your birthright, the power to create a happier, healthier life, drawn from our own vast internal resources. Join Jules and her guests as they gently guide you to shift your perspective from the familiar negative to the divinely connected, a place that will not only positively impact your world, but possibly shift the planet. It's all right here on Law of Attraction Talk Radio.
Well, welcome to Law of Attraction Talk Radio. I'm Jules from beautiful Southern California, and we are welcoming in the Christmas season, the holiday season, New Year's, the year 2021. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a great show because we have my good friend and fellow host, Paula Kid Casey. She's going to be with me today on our Christmas show. But then we have another special guest who I just love. His name is Royce Christyn, and he is starting a brand new TV show. You probably have recognized him before. He was Selena Gomez's boyfriend on their TV series. But now he is a law of attraction expert, and he wrote a terrific book on scripting. And so, of course, he manifested another TV show, talk show for him. So I am so excited to hear about that, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this holiday season show. And I do hope you enjoy it. And I hope that 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year. It's not too early to start manifesting it, start planning it, and letting your manifestation powers take over. This is the year that you can do it. So let's take a fast break, and we'll be right back with Paula and Royce.
It's here, it's hot, and it's a must read. It's the science behind the Law of Attraction magazine. Every issue brings you great articles and in-depth how-tos from all your favorite Law of Attraction experts, authors, scientists, and medical professionals. Go to lawofattractionmagazine.net. That's lawofattractionmagazine.net.
Did you know that every human uses only a small portion of their powerful mind? Jules Johnson, international certified hypnotherapist, wants to introduce you to your powerful mind in order to create your dream life. In as little as one session, Jules guides you into releasing limiting beliefs that keep you from achieving wealth, health, better relationships, and even true love. Schedule a session in Palm Springs or set up a Skype video session for those nationally and internationally. Jules would love to serve as your guide into living your dreams. Go to creativeguidedimagery.com or call 951-201-2166. That's creativeguidedimagery.com.
You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network, heard by millions worldwide through 38 internet radio stations and in over 135 countries. Be sure to sign up for your monthly updates and get all the latest information on LOA radio events such as cruises, workshops, and seminars, as well as information on the latest shows, topics, and guests. Go to LOARadionetwork.com and sign up today.
Thank you. Well, welcome, Paula Kid Casey and Royce. Oh my God, Royce.
Hi.
This is so much fun. Thank you for being on the Christmas show.
Yay. Okay, we're very festive, all of us here.
Yes. Thank you for the invite. I'm so excited about what we're going to be putting out today because this is going to be so important for people to understand.
This is going to be the best episode of the Law of Attraction Radio Jules show for the entire year. Like, for real, everybody out there listening and watching, what we have planned, I am so excited. I'm like a little kid at Christmas.
And you are a little kid at Christmas, so there you go.
Well, we've all had a really unusual, and I'm not going to say difficult, but unusual year. But yeah, tricky is a good word. But Paula, you've been doing fantastically all year. You've had all these seminars, all these workshops. I mean, your popularity has gone sky high on the network. And then Royce got married.
And I did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
on screen too. On screen, you got married.
we did, because it was the only way to get married was via a ceremony through the clerk, because that was it. But it was
Oh, that's right.
The actor would get married on a camera. Come on, we've been together 10 years and engaged for like 7 or 8 of those. So, it just made sense. But yeah, there's a lot going on with you, Jules, too. Hello, I believe there's, I don't want to spoil it, but you got a lot going on from what I hear. Little birdies have been telling me there's a lot of very fun stuff going on for you too.
Well, I don't know.
What did birdies tell you, Royce, about Jules? I want to know this.
Maybe we'll find out in the show. I'm not gonna spoil it. I think she's just being coy, but we've all found her tricky but interesting year manifesting wise, because I think it's taught us how to manifest in situations that are tricky and still have really great results, like with you, Paula. And also, I mean, I honestly, I keep saying, is my Thai cricket? See, everybody out there watching, you'll see how really.
Go the other way. Go the other way. There you go. There you go. No, yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, this could be a series.
Maybe like three of us can
Did you say diva?
I know. I wanted to look good for you guys. That's all.
Yeah, you are looking good.
I'm just kidding. That's what I feel like when I'm adjusting my tie. But yeah, this show is going to be amazing today.
I think you were talking about that I wanted to move to Las Vegas, but because of the shutdown, it's kind of hard to get out of town. So I putting that off until next year. But I got to tell you, I do want to at least have a Law of Attraction convention in the desert, Las Vegas. So
I am there. Paula, are you?
I am there. Especially for
we are so like, I would be humbled, and if Paula and I are invited, we will.
Of course, you're going to be speakers. Of course.
Woohoo!
Oh, and
the keynote speaker.
I'm sorry. The other manifestation, I have my own real network television show in England. Actually, it airs in like 5 countries. It just started airing. And let me tell you, in a pandemic, in a lockdown, the last thing on earth I thought that I would manifest, but it was on my list. It was on my manifesting list for like 2 years, and everything just flowed. So Paula, with all the stuff you've been doing and all this stuff, Jules, I know the timing's gonna be perfect, because this convention, everybody, if you're out there watching, please come, because you're all ready. Everybody's dying to see us. We need to be in person and do this.
Oh my goodness. And you know what I found this year, and I think we were talking about before we got on, is that everything happens in the right time, right? Because we were trying to manifest something earlier this year together. And I think we plant seeds and everything just manifests in its own perfect timing. And that's why we're all on this show together.
Right. And here we are. I mean, and what a great episode to be on together. It's such a celebratory time.
Yeah, right. And it's going to be, I just feel 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year. It really is. Because one, we learned how to get through the trickiness of 2020. You know, that was such an unusual year. And many did not experience, well, being shut down, for one thing. That's never happened to me before.
No, I don't think it's happened to any of these generations, because the last one was like in 1917 that they did a real lockdown.
That's right. And
so I'm from Kansas, and we always social distance, and it has been no different whatsoever. Because nobody lives in Kansas, so there you go. We're fine here. But
well, we're in California, and they just love to shut us down, and the restaurants and Oh my goodness. If I didn't have the mountains out there, I wouldn't be able to get any exercise. So,
I like the fact that 2020 means vision, right? So
right.
it's perfect vision, and it gives us a chance to be introspective and pivot and have this perfect vision. And if people out there have not had a great year, just know that it was the time for you to have more insight and more vision inside, because we're going to teach you today how you're going to create next year. Because Royce is an absolute dream and expert. I love your book, Royce. I got to talk to you about it after. I love your book.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, Scripting the Life You Want has taken on its own life. It's wild, the word of mouth. I'm so grateful beyond belief. It's weird because, speaking of having a weird year, real quick, I think you made a great point, Paula. I was an actor on Disney and Nickelodeon. That's what I did as a kid. And then I was a producer, and I've always I knew this is what was coming, because as I've been coaching for years, all these clients, I knew I wanted to start writing about it. And my book came out the day after my birthday, April 7th, which everybody out there knows was smack dab in the middle of the lockdown. We were recording an audiobook the week before they shut everything down here. And I had so many calls from friends and people even in the industry on both sides going, are you upset? Do you want to switch the date? Da, 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 da. And you know what happened? This is honest to God, true story. Simon & Schuster, who handles the distribution for Intertraditions, made an error, a printing error, and printed all of my books 2 months early. So if that had not happened, nothing would have been available to sell because of the lockdown, and Amazon had shut down, and all these things were happening.
Wow.
But it was just a testament. Knowing that, I was just like very, very sure that it was supposed to happen. And let me tell you, for everybody out there watching, and I think a lot of people that I've worked with and talked to this year have said the same thing. They've made so many new friends. Like us three here, we would not maybe have met. I had a book tour plan. It was a 3-month thing all over the world. I wouldn't have probably done these shows at that time, and we wouldn't have made these connections. And Paula, you were completely right. I think it was a time of self-reflection and a time to just be okay and learn your own rhythms, which is a key to making 2021 awesome. So if anything, this was just like the year of study, and now everybody gets to go play next year safely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's true. It was the year we were forced to sit down and study. We were forced to sit down and do nothing in order to really manifest the future. And we're still in the process of doing that. Would you all agree?
Oh,
Absolutely. And you know what I have found, because I do a lot of stuff online, is that people are so hungry for this personal development, but it's so much deeper than personal development, what we three teach, right? It is so spiritual, law of attraction, quantum physics. And I think it's made so many more people so hungry and yearning for this. And woohoo, that's what we're here for.
Exactly. Yeah, I've noticed a big change. It's been a busy year. The workshops I got to do, I did 7 that I donated the entire proceeds to East Books up in Mountain View, which is like the biggest new thought, self-empowerment, self-help, whatever bookstore in the country.
Yeah.
They were so kind to let me do it, but I thought it was exactly the same thing. I noticed there was a shift from wanting just bite-sized information and little tiny pieces and little facts over the last 5 or 6 years to this year, people wanting to just really get it. And, I teach science and spirituality. That's what my TV show is about we have had neuroscientists, PhDs, people who are not but quacks that you see on I love the UFO which is all good.
Oh my God, Ancient Aliens. I love Ancient Aliens.
I love it too. But it's been wild. That's a manifestation that I'm so happy to have. These people who would never go on shows like this are saying, yeah, what you guys are teaching. We had one of the top neuroscientists in the world, Dr. Mona Sabani, come on the show and say that whether you call it neuroscience or what she does or the law of attraction and manifesting, it's the same thing. And that is blowing up all over the news there, because think about that. These are scientists saying that what you and I and we all teach, and Jules, this is I'm just so happy, and I'm excited for you for the next. You keep this community together of all of us. So it's just so cool to see happening in this decade, because I know it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Foster Gamble, who is a scientist,
I love that movie.
Thrive On 2. And I just talked to him last week, and he said, did you ever realize that the law of attraction is so scientifically proved. No other time, just right now, it's like, this is mind blowing. And I kept on saying, well, I just wanted to have the magic. That's all I was looking for.
I know.
But it's like, it's scientifically documented that the law of attraction is real. And everything that we're teaching is the real science of life.
It's amazing. One of the scientists, we had Dr. Dina Grayson, who is she literally invented one of the only known cures for Ebola. Like, she is a real legit deal. I mean, she's on the show and she said that this is the time, science and spirituality, meaning this community, it's time to sit down at the table together, which is what I'm trying to do on my show. But I'm like, there's a lot of us, like you said, I'm just like a giddy little kid because it is so magic and I still love that. And if it were up to me, that's all I just love it because it is insanely magical. But for the people out there who maybe have some, doubts, or they have family members who maybe are unsure, or partners or bosses, one of the things I thought we could talk about, that I've been studying for the next book, and it's so cool, is the science of learning. And get this, to everybody out there listening, if you want to hear really what the three of us are going to talk about today, this is all I'm going to say in this. Ready? Think about someone in your life that you love, whether it's a grandkid or an uncle or a boss, that you want to teach what we're going to talk to you about. And if you just start off this whole session thinking in your head, I'm going to teach this to somebody, this is a real number, you will retain 90% more of what we talk about, and you're 75% more likely to implement it action-wise. So everybody right now, think about a person they love, or even if there's not someone they can think of, just think about the fact that we're going to teach you how to teach, and you are going to be the best manifestor in the world by the end of the show.
I love that. Dr. Joe, I've been to some of his workshops, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He teaches and he says, okay, now teach it to your neighbor. So everybody stops and they have to turn around and they have to regurgitate what they just heard. And you start paying attention a lot more because you're going to have to teach it. So I love that, Royce, that's what you're doing, because that's how we're going to spread this. This sounds like it's a virus, but it's not. That's how we're going to get this out, because we'll probably get thrown off the air because I said that word. But,
no, it's true though. I mean, right. Did you notice that, Jules, Paula, like people, I think because they've had so much time to sit at home, that scientist, the neuroscientist I mentioned earlier, she said that had the pandemic not happened, she's had these urges to look into the law of attraction and spirituality her whole life, but you're taught to basically not accept that in your PhD program. She says that on the show, but because of the pandemic, she had the time. So have you found that where like people are actually looking into this, and spreading it?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is science and spirituality, because as an attorney, I had to be legitimate, right? And document everything and be able
to. I know what you want to talk about in my book now. That's the last half of it.
Well, I love that algorithm, that app thing, but that's too much to go into. But no, I loved it because that's what my whole thing is. Because if we can teach them the foundation that science backs us up, they have a belief system, right? And the belief system is all powerful, and that's when the magic happens. Because just because it's scientific does not mean it's also not magical, because it is so fucking magical.
My favorite quote in the world is from. Oh, we're gonna
get. Thank you, Paula.
I'll give you a good place to cut and restart, because this is the truth, right? My favorite quote in the world it's in my book too, and I say it every single place and show that I can. It's by Kurt Vonnegut, the author, and this is the quote: "Science is just magic that's real." That's the best thing about it when you reverse that and you look at that, because like you said, why can't science be magical? That's like the coolest thing out there. I'm a big science geeky nerd, so people out there who are turned off by science, here's the craziest thing we're all learning. Paula knows this, Jules knows this, like it's becoming one thing. So the magic is all the same force, I think. Personally, it is the exact same thing, and it's being proved because the tools and the instruments are showing that. But they probably don't care about that. We should probably talk about.
Oh, I don't know. I think they care about it because they want so much for it to work, and they don't. If they can't believe it, they can't get to that next step. Right. Linda Taggart wrote The Field, which is a completely based on, half of it is footnotes. But she says science is just a story told in installments, right? And when we get a new chapter, it changes everything. But people think that they're just stuck in one in one chapter of science, and there's this new chapter that's coming out that is so amazing, and it's going to change so many people's lives.
It is. It is so exciting too, because the people who think they don't like science, when they I know for you too, and they talk to you and they talk to authors that teach this, like the ones you just mentioned, and even with my classes, they suddenly like it because I think there's this misconception, and it was true for a long time, that the scientific community just thought we were all, morons and hippies. Really, I mean, there was this kind of a feeling of, I felt that way. I know when I was younger that maybe, I shouldn't, they're not going to accept me. But it's turned out to be the opposite. There is a new paradigm shift happening where the scientists have actually turned, at least in my work, to us, and they're going, you wrote about this stuff, not just me, but like, you guys have been saying this for almost 150 years, and now what's happening in our labs, help, please. And I think that's the funniest thing and coolest thing ever. So yes, you're right.
Jules and I have not been saying it for 150 years.
No, I
because we
are clarifying that.
Manifesting. I mean, of course, I did not mean you too. Oh my God, we're all talking.
Oh no, now listen, we're in the Christmas season, and I got to tell you that there's a really spectacular thing going to happen in just a few days. December 21st is when the planetary alignment of 3 stars, we're going to see the star that was in Bethlehem.
Is this one? Oh my God.
Convergence.
So excited.
Yeah, it's going to be one on top of another, and it's going to be the brightest star.
Oh, right.
And that's what the 3 wise men were following. And it's happening this December 21st. And I've looked into that further. And what does that mean? That represents peace, prosperity, and abundance. And it's happening at the end of the year, that's going to carry us forward. So that's how come I'm saying right now, we should be looking at manifesting what is exactly that we want. And I would tend to think that it's the time to actually sit down, get quiet, and write out what you want. Script it out. Now is the time. And then focus on that when you go out to see the brightest star in the sky.
I tell people, Jules, you're so... First of all, this is super exciting. Oh my goodness. Second of all, what you were saying is 100% accurate. And I always, right now is a great time to start because you like you said, it's the 21st. So when this airs obviously before then. So everybody out there watching, you have a few days, and writing down your wants. I always call it a want list, but write it down as an intention. So instead of saying, I want to be a millionaire, you say, I intend to be a millionaire, because that's an actionable thing. And what Jules is saying is so right, because you're going to actually go outside and look. So take your notebook. Now, I normally say it's okay to use your phone or your iPad or whatever you want to use. And you can use your normal manifesting and all the things we teach. You can use any tool. But here's the thing with an event like that and an actionable movement that you're going to take with your intentions. When you're writing them down, your mind can wander, but your pen cannot. So you will be more focused. If you're not a paper and pen person, just for these few days and weeks leading up to that, use a paper and pen and just do 2 or 3 a day. Go out there and just think and feel. That's the emotional, the feelings. I think that's this is such a great time to just release 2020. And what a cool thing. I mean, also talking about the Star of Bethlehem, a birthing of a new way of life. I mean, is that okay to say? Because I know
that is good. That is really good.
Writing in cursive engages the frontal lobe of your brain, which is creative, and you're getting a download, from. And
it helps connect the sides, right? Because that's what integrates. And if you
it's more creative. So when you write in cursive, I think it's brilliant to tell people to do that, especially now, because we need to be as creative as possible to create this new life, right? To create this new world. And that there only has to be a very small percentage of us that understand this and gets in a higher vibration that can take us all into that higher vibration.
Exactly. And I know we know this, and it's so interesting. because I find a lot in my workshops I forget, and then I remember at the very end, because it's such a natural part. Obviously, this isn't a statement of like ego or cockiness. We just teach this stuff, so it's just kind of like seems like the very, very basics. But I think it's worth mentioning, your thoughts create your feelings and emotions, and that's that fuel that brings in the manifestation. So like you're saying, it's just so important to listen to what Paula just said, because we have to remember this is a holistic approach to how you're actually bringing in those manifestations and feeling. It doesn't even matter if you're feeling good about the thing. You don't even have to think about the thing that you want. If you can find anything to feel good and get into that alignment with, you will manifest it. I just worked with, and I don't have any clients anymore, but I had an emergency as a business executive. Very quickly, there's a puddle on the floor, which is what I usually get. And I said, okay, buddy, what's going on? He had some money issues. And at the end of it, I said, look, he loves his dog. He loves his dog. It was the only thing that created great joy. And I said, what I want you to do is I want you to write a gratitude list. Just write, I am so grateful for Trixie because, and then you don't have to write it out every time. Just go, because she's funny. She makes me smile, da, 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 da. And you just go down and down and down and write everything you can. And then I just want you to play with your dog for a whole day. And he thought I was nuts. I said, and most people do who work with me for the first session, because I usually say what sounds like very simple things that won't do anything. But he got into such alignment just by appreciating his dog and feeling fun, having fun going out with her and writing about it. Everything corrected itself. Now that was an extreme example because it happened so fast, but he was already a great manifester because he was a big executive. He just needed to be reminded. And I think that's an important key. If you want something really, really bad, and maybe you've wanted it for a really long time, Paula, you and I talked about this a lot, because this is something a lot of people forget. You don't have to know, you don't have to be thinking about the thing you want, because sometimes there's just more resistance there. And the easier way to bring it in is by looking at the thing that you do love and you can appreciate, because it's the same vibration that'll bring it in.
Oh, we're so into vibration and frequency, and Abraham Hicks.
We're a little geeky with it, yes, for sure. It. I mean, we just had Frances Fisher on my show, the famous actress of Titanic and a zillion other movies. Oh, yeah. Read an Abraham Hicks quote and say how much she loves Esther. And I don't know when it's airing. It'll be before the end of the new year. I told Jules, I will happily give you the clip if you want to put it out there for people. But it was the only other, I know we have like Alanis Morissette and Jim Carrey are out there, but as far as I know this from being an actor for so long, everyone uses the law of attraction, and a lot of big celebrities look to things like The Secret and have used that for a long time, and Abraham Hicks. So Frances initiated that conversation on her own, and to have Frances Fisher just say it, and she had it printed out, the Daily News, Abraham Hicks sends out like a quote every day, and she just had it there. We were talking about something completely different, and she pulled it out and she just started reading it. She's like, do you know Esther and Jerry Hicks? Do you know of them? I'm like, oh, do I know of them? Yes. Do you? I cannot believe you're admitting this on live international television. And it was great. And then she gave some really cool tips of how she's manifested being one of the only 4 women that has been in a movie that's won Best Picture twice. So she knows what she's talking about, and she's so just saying.
Yeah. The truth of the matter is we were born with these powers. Exactly. And sometimes it takes us a lifetime to discover that we even have them. So we're allowing people right now to understand and to grab it. Even, the Queen of England and her family know about the law of attraction.
Right.
They have been using it. I forgot even the princesses' names, but we all know them, but they.
William.
I was going to say, Marie Diamond from The Secret talks about in her dowsing course how St. Paul's Cathedral, the royal family for, going back generations, everything, the architects who were royals who helped pick that spot, they were working with dowsing, which P.S. I've been studying all year and is one of the most fascinating things. It is not just water. And it has, I honestly believe, part of the reason that a lot of the really great manifesting, it's added a whole new component, because what my next book's about is scripting your environment, and it's taking it off the page and into your house and office. And it has transformed my life and everything. The wedding, my new TV show. I haven't had my own TV show in like 15 years. And it's funny because the book's about booking a TV show using my method, and the book itself manifested a TV show. But let me tell you, I think what did it was shifting my environment around, and I learned how to script into the environment. So part of that, a lot of teachers teach dowsing. I happen to use Marie's, but she talks about the royal family, and they absolutely do. You know, you have to feel like a king and a queen. That was the best advice. Now I'm on the set of my show right now, but my office, I changed the chair, high back chairs. You want to feel protected. You want to have a power position. You know all this stuff, but it's like doing it and applying it. The image, one of the things I've always taught, and this is a great tip that's easy for everybody out there to take in the 2021. Find a picture of yourself or take a selfie. Okay, this is something I teach in my book called Picture Scripting. And take a picture of yourself smiling and looking happy, or find one where you know you were happy, and play paper dolls. It sounds silly, but trust me, find a scene that you love, or find you a picture of you and your family and just cut it out and put it in Bora Bora, or put it in front of the car you want. And instead of putting it on a vision board, which vision boards, look, they're great, but my science research and all of the scientists that I talk to, we developed this method together, and the success rate, because of how our brain's reticular activating system, which is the filter, takes in seeing an image of itself when it's looking at you and you're seeing you in that place, it actually brings in these experiences, because it's not the experience itself. It's not putting a picture of Bora Bora on the wall is going to make that happen, but your brain has now been alerted. It's the same system that makes you see 1111 or 333 over and over again. They used to call it the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, but science has now shown us that there's this really cool filter in our brain. It's the same thing that helps us not like get overwhelmed at a Facebook page. But when you start actually, you can just, it doesn't have to be technical at all. My husband is technical. I am not. I just cut out paper and print and put it on, but I put it in a frame in my office, and your brain will then start to, if you hear maybe a friend say, hey, I have a friend who works in publicity, or I have a friend who works in marketing in Bora Bora. I've had so many stories. I actually had a girl make a $10 million real estate sale. She's in high-end real estate, didn't make a sale a year, was going to get fired. And she did that. She put herself there in front of that for sale sign, put pictures of herself. This is what I teach. That's different than a vision board, but in that scenario she wanted to be in, she walked by the same coffee shop every day for a year, past a bookstore that was advertising a very successful entrepreneur that everyone here would know, but I can't say because of the next part. She saw it. He was there. He was giving a talk. This is the end of last year. Went in, ended up getting him as a client. He had a property. He didn't even live in the city, but he had a property. It was $11 million. She got it. They sold it. But she was so weirded out because when she asked the bookshop owner, the sign had been there that she walked by every day for months that he was going to be there. But because she was starting to program her brain to point out those experiences and opportunities, it was right by the hair, but it worked. And that's a really easy and fun thing. Like, that's free. Like, everything I teach is easy. And that's why I just love coming on the show, because I don't hold anything back. I hate that.
I know that. I know that. We love that. We love that about you. I just wonder, our last cruise, Paula, you were on the cruise, and there was a gal named Nancy, and she couldn't afford to go on the cruise. So I gave her a free cruise.
And Jules is like that. I'm going to hold on. Christmas, I'm just going to call you out. You were one of the kindest, most giving people. I hear stories about Jules all the time. So everybody out there, send her a happy Christmas.
Oh, that's so sweet. But anyway, Nancy, her husband died. She was, I know she's listening, but her husband died and she was not in a good situation. Well, a few months ago, she sent me a beautiful picture of a brand new car, Mercedes, brand new. Oh my God. And she has a boyfriend and she's living in this magnificent place. And that was just a year and a half ago, Paula. Do you remember?
Yeah.
A year and a half ago. That's how incredible and powerful we are once we get out of the way of thinking that we can't and allow ourselves to bring it in. That's when life really starts.
I love that. And just real quickly about Marie Diamond, when she was on my show, she's talking about your environment. It's like a 3D vision board, because when we see the vision board, it's two-dimensional. But when we redo our living environment, it's a 3D vision board, right? And she has I don't know if she calls it altars, but she has little things all over her
Hey,
house.
Yeah.
Yes, that has stuff on it because it's 3D and your brain is starting to see this is real, right? This is
very real. And she teaches how it's 33%. So like what I teach and what we're all talking about is a big, giant chunk, 33%.
Right.
And then which the environment is the other piece. Now I've known about Marie for years. I had no idea all these other amazing things she taught until the past 2 years I started studying with her. So get this though. Yes, wholly, completely true. I am a living example. I can't wait for my next book because it is all about not just her, but what I was finding was you can go back through history, Jules, Paula, and you can look and you can see, every, New Age religion, pagans, Christianity, Buddhism, every country, every place in the world had three really weird things in common throughout history, which was they decorated their homes in a certain way. They had times that completely no communication with each other, days of the week and times that they believed things were better for basically manifesting. And that's actually what started me on. I was like, why does this Rosicrucian book I got at a flea market sale say the same thing as this old Scandinavian book a friend of mine gave me? There's like no way. And then a book from China, like it was all the same dates and times and they were hundreds of years apart written. And that got me on the environmental journey. But here's a real quick one for everybody out there listening. So I became, and Jules knows this, a mega fan of Marie Diamond, like kind of obsessive in the past year. You both know this. Just because I do not work for her. I have no, this is not an ad, but let me tell you, I wanted really badly to do something with her, whether it was, go on a show with her or whatever. So I on Sky Showcase in Europe, my new show is called, same as my book, Scripting the Life You Want, and it airs, they're launching a new channel called Feel Good Factor TV through Sky. So we're 6 weeks in and I get a call last week from my executive producer and she goes, you remember how you were telling me how much you love Marie Diamond? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, she just signed a contract. Her show will be airing after yours starting next week. It's just started this Saturday, am on the same network. She just got a show. It happened so fast for her. I don't even think she's advertised it yet because it literally happened so quickly for her. And it was supposed to just be a 3-minute thing until next year. So we were watching this week and I didn't realize it was going to be a whole show. So, there's like a Mercedes commercial and a this commercial and a that, and it was so cool. And I'm still like geeking out over that. And then my show airs, the commercials, and then Marie, and then it's a whole show. So I manifested not just being on a show with her, but being on a network next to her on a show. So it's crazy. It's so nuts.
I love you, Royce. I love your attitude and your energy and your information, and you're changing so many lives.
Oh, you guys are. And everybody watching this hyperness, you're making fun of the ADD, but I love these two women. They are my sisters, and I get so excited. And when I'm going to be on this together, that's a lot of what this is right now. But you guys are the ones changing lives too. And everybody out there, you can do this. We were not these people years ago. This is something that we've found and it worked quickly. And just, you become very passionate about teaching it. We were talking about in the beginning, there's something different about that.
Well, I think we all know it intuitively. So we all want that magic. We all possess it, but people don't realize it. And again, it has to do with letting yourself allow it. Don't think the negative about you. Know that you can do it. That, Royce, you're proving that. Paula, you're proving that. Oh my goodness. The network that's been going on for almost 15 years.
I was going to say, 15 had to be, yeah.
Yeah, so it's proving it. It's just all coming to be. We're so powerful, and it's a wonderful time to be alive. Forget all of the stuff that you didn't like last year. Forget being bored. Forget all this. Boy, just think, 2021. This is the year, guys.
Absolutely the year. 150%. And you know what? There's something called debt-based thinking and asset-based thinking. And what you're describing is looking at a situation and going, okay, this problem happened and focusing there versus going, oh, what's the benefit of the problem and how can I take this into being something positive? Paula and I and Jules, really all of us, we've been impacted. But when I found out my first book was not going to go and it was going out, but there was no book tour, I was so excited. And it came home to me that, oh my God, I can do the whole book tour with my pajama bottoms on. In fact, Jules, time we ever had a show together. I did not know it was on video, even though I watched you. I was so tired that day from before. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I get on, I look like a crazy like monster, and I was like, is this live? And she's like, no. I'm like, I am so sorry. Can I have 5 minutes to get dressed? And bless you, you let me do that. But it was, I mean, really, I was so much more comfortable. And in the workshops, isn't it crazy, guys, how, I mean, I had one workshop where I just 8 countries. Like I had China, Australia, Italy, and that's people, I'm meeting people, and we all are like from all over the world. So everybody out there, like going into this year as we're still coming out of these tricky times, start looking at it from that was bad to what's good about next. What's next? Don't worry about what was before. What can be made positive about this? What are the benefits? For me, I got to be in my pajamas and not be on a plane for 3 months. And I was really excited about that. And, you know, it can be different for everybody, but Christmas, like the thing about this time of year is it's a celebration. And no matter what holiday you celebrate, it's such a great energy, isn't it? Like, because everyone out there is just like feeling the gift. It's such a time of gratitude and also giving. So that's something that I've been saying that in prep for this show, you know, the best thing I think people could take away is having Christmas every day, because that's what it's like once you master this, and it's easy to master. That's the biggest thing. A billionaire, honest to God story, told me, I was so like waiting for this like crazy other aspect of something. This was just 2 years ago. And everybody was afraid. It was a really close family friend of my husband's, and they made their money for over 50 years. She's much older. We ended up at lunch with her. And I said, you got to tell me, you built this business and literally you were a billionaire. I didn't say it like that, but it was like, what was, do you call it manifesting? Law of attraction? Do you think I'm nuts? Like, what do you do? She goes, my husband taught me before, back in the 50s, before every meeting, phone call, party, good thing, bad thing, to just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, this is going to be easy and effortless. And then we would walk in, or we would pick the phone up, or we would go to the party. And if we were together, we would look at each other and say, this is going to be easy and effortless. And that's the other thing my husband and I have been doing for 2 years since then. We start to realize, and here's everybody's reticular activating system and filter now that I've said it, start paying attention to very wealthy people in interviews and magazines. You're going to notice one word over and over that I never noticed before, and it's the word easy.
Oh,
I love that.
Easy. And that's why I think there's so much that people think goes into this, but the reality is what you just said, Jules, it's just allowing. That's the easiest thing in the world. And you don't have to allow over something that's you want bad, but stressing you out. You can allow over loving your kitten or your favorite TV show, or getting a, you know, like I do, spend way too much money at Macy's online, way too much money. But you know, there is like, you know, it's like the $100 trick they used to teach, you know, where you go and you get $100 bill and you go to every store and emotionally spend it and like feel yourself buying everything. I used to do that all the time. It was great. You know, in a pandemic, you can't do that. And you know, it's a little different with a credit card, and, you know, husbands yell at husbands, but I still have a lot of fun shopping and doing things that I think it's easy and it's fun. And there are little things like that you could do just to be in alignment, whether it's shopping, a cat, and if it's a house you want, just feel good about your cat and shopping. And I promise you that will cause the alignment.
yeah, that's true, because you really have to be able to stop focusing in on it too, because then you're getting all these other emotions in on it. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Okay, now you're cluttering up everything. So you got to kind of let.
She's the master here. I mean, as far as how people cannot focus, because that's a real thing. I mean, I have that sometimes. I mean, I'm sure we all do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think awareness is the whole key, because if people aren't even aware of what we're talking about, they can't engage in it and they can't do that stuff. And I think this is the perfect time to be alive, because this came to me. It was, I don't really have downloads and I don't channel, but you know, this is the only time in history that we know that we're interconnected to each other, right? In an instant, we can be interconnected. Like Royce was talking about being online. I mean, I've had people from all over the world on my workshops too, and we would never know them. And it's such a blessing, but we're also connected to source, right? We've learned that it's an energy field. It's the 0 point field. It's quantum physics. It's the Holy Spirit. Right. And we just have to be in that high vibration of gratitude. That's this whole thing. And when we're connected to source and we're connected to each other. And how can it not be perfect next year? Right. The awareness of that.
And you know, it's a great exercise. Oh, go ahead, Jules. I didn't want to.
No, I was just, we've got time. Go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, one of my favorite exercises is the which thought feels better. I think is what there's a couple versions of it, but I do it. If you're feeling yucky about how tricky 2020 was, just get out your phone even and just right where you're at, because you're not gonna be able to jump from feeling yucky to amazing. And what I do is I'll go, because example, today was a bad day. I've had worse days. And actually things weren't that bad. And I have that party tomorrow online with Zoom I'm excited about. I haven't seen my friends in a while. It'll be nice to see them. And you start to just go up genuinely. And every couple of sentences, you'll go down a hair and then you'll go back up, but you get
the vortex, yeah,
all the way back up. And I use that all the time, and it's fast. I don't know if it's the same way with everybody, but for some reason, because it's so accessible and I just can pull my phone out or a notebook and just I did it yesterday over something silly. I was just like, and then that is if you don't believe, or that you're maybe just have had overload of law of attraction, everything from all the different wonderful teachers, because they are all wonderful and all do have wonderful things to say. That simple exercise, you feel it physically. And I think that really helps you remember, okay, this is just all about allowing. So something to take them. And here's a little tip. Last one I do every day. Take out your phone, because you all have a free note app, on an iPhone or an Android. You have that blank notes. Mm-hmm. Every hour, every 3 hours, or twice a day, I just pull out my phone and I'll write 3 things that happened that I'm grateful for. Whether it's, my dad dropped off a burrito, or like, something nice, or I was on the show. I'll just be like on the top of the list every morning. I'll just write, I'm so grateful for it. And it has to be things that happened during the day. And at the end of the night, you can't help but feel wonderful. And it's the last thing you read, because you just remember all the good stuff. And the science there is you are programming yourself and programming your mind, and then retuning your vibration. So it's a very fast way, and it's simple because it takes a few seconds. And if something really good happens, just boop, write it down. It's all on the same note. And it's a great
And here's another clue. Put a timer on your phone, like for every 3 hours, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. I do set an alarm. Yes, that's exactly right. See,
right. We forget to do it. It's at nighttime. We go, oh shit, I forgot to do it. Right. So setting a timer, and if you can't even write it, you can take a big deep breath and try to neutralize your mind and reach for a better feeling thought. I was working with a nurse in Houston at the very beginning of the pandemic. And I mean, horrible. And she was in ICU and, holding people's hands that were dying. And she wanted to drop out of my program. And I said, not on your life. We're going to set up something. And she set up 6 times a day. Her phone went off. Right. And she would stop what she was doing, either mentally or physically, for just a few seconds, and take a big deep breath. And she said it made all the difference. She got into gratitude. She got into joy. She said it changed her life, because she wasn't thinking about doing that. Right. She was thinking about the negatives, and it was amazing. If we can get awareness and be
and it's easy. That what you're saying is an easy thing to do. I just ready for this. This is so cool. That poem, The Road Less Taken, or they call it The Road Less Traveled. I used to think that was the most empowering, awesome poem, and it is to many people. But so I just thinking about the path of least resistance, right? The thing that is the easiest to do is always what's going to raise your vibration. It's always going to feel the best, right? That is a core tenet of manifesting. No matter what modality you use, it has to be easy. So that poem makes it sound like, and we have been taught through all these commercials that I took the one less traveled and all covered in bushes, and that made the difference. So Google it if you don't believe me, everybody out there watching. He says, and the actual, the agreed upon, and if you reread it, knowing this, you will see, he's saying it made all the difference, and he sighs, meaning he should have taken the easy path because his life would have been better, because the road less traveled was harder. And at the end of his life, he was still talking about how he should have taken the easy path. And actually, in the last 2 days, I was using it for a part of the next book, the last little piece, and I thought it's also a really cool fact for everybody out there. If you want to brag to your family and friends, something, because they're going to go, no, and then they'll Google it on their phones, and just thousands of different articles about it. The road less traveled, the harder road, was not the warrior, I'm a hero road to take. The easy road was the one the poet wished he had taken, and that's manifesting. It's the path of least resistance.
So so we're running out of time, but I just want, Paula, tell us what you are going to manifest in 2021.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to manifest. I'm starting a new book on divinity identity. And And I want our Law of Attraction radio network to explode and my program to explode, and I want to be on Royce's program.
Why don't you guys come on my show? I'm an executive producer here. Everybody, real manifesting happening right now. I have 4 episodes left this season. We can shoot it in January. Leave this in, Jules. I'm serious. Let them see it.
Yeah, all right. I just manifested that, you guys. And here's the other thing: if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. We got to formulate what we want. We got to put it out to the universe. And if we think we're not worthy enough to get it, we're not even going to ask, right? Exactly. So multi-million dollars next year, and everything's exploding. And working with Jules and Royce, and we've got a project in the works, and we are excited about that. So it's going to be a wonderful year. I'm so excited about it.
Good. I agree. What about you? What are you going to manifest besides your popular TV show? Yeah,
international TV show.
What is the title of the show?
Same name as my book, so it is called.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it airs on Sky Showcase channel 191 if you're in the UK, and it airs on Sky Arts TV in Italy. But actually, I'm really excited because starting next weekend, by Christmas, everybody, whenever you watch this in 2020. If you go on my website, roycechristyn.com, so it's like a Rolls Royce and then CHRISTYN. There's a link where Sky's letting me have a broadcast link for people who aren't in Europe to watch it. And I'll have recordings and clips. So watch the show. But look, I love giving stuff away. I'm really easy to get a hold of. That's my goal for the next year, is the more people that learn the things we're talking about. I am so excited to do this convention that I'm like a giddy little kid right now. So the convention with Jules, I'm very excited to also, I had a plan to move this year and we just decided to wait, and it actually worked out. So same thing there, but here in California, just different place. And I mean, I'm so happy. I want to do a movie. I think it's time to do an update, and a really, really powerful one, because I just watched a friend who went and did a survey of all these high schoolers across Los Angeles. 91% of them have never heard of the word law or the phrase law of attraction or the word manifesting. So we got work to do as we're teaching the next generation. Like I was taught and you were taught by the generation who are above us. It's time. So that was the marker for me. So I think in 2021, one of the best things for all of us and for everybody out there, hopefully you guys will watch it and support it and support Jules. I agree. Law of Attraction Radio Network I'm ready though. You just manifested that. And I was thinking the whole time, I got to email them afterwards and invite them on the show because I have this slot open and I really think it would be fun. And asking though, Paula, that was a living example of Paula manifested that. I want to get on the show. And you just said it, Paul. I hope, Jules, I didn't even know if you said it, but I hope you come on now.
Okay, we will. I just want to say that in my book, I want to do a movie.
Yes.
I want to do a movie on the law of attraction, but from a different standpoint. And I want the magazine to blossom more, and the network, and everyone just be able to understand the power within them. It's time. We're not weaklings. We are powerful beings. And that's what everyone needs to discover. That's the purpose. So I want a convention. I want a movie. I want what?
Cruise. We should do our own
cruise. Oh yes, a cruise. That would be cool. I miss my cruise this year, Paul.
I know. We'll have one next year. It's gonna just blossom next year.
Okay, and so oh boy, I can see us with Royce on the cruise.
Oh my God,
we're gonna have a wild time.
If you liked watching this and you want to have a week of it, come on the cruise.
This is so much fun. Thank you, guys. I just enjoyed this. We must have known each other in another life, because it just seems like we fit in together, and we're going forward.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've known you guys. It's interesting. I forgot for a minute that we met like this year. All of us, like at least me. It feels like we've been best friends for our whole lives. So
I know
that's the power of attraction, is you vibrate around the people and you attract the ones that are on the same level. So therefore, if you're feeling good and doing everything right, you have great people who you feel connected to. So
yeah.
You, Jules, seriously, for inviting us. Oh my God, it's just been amazing.
Hey,
Thank you, Jules and Royce. I love seeing you again.
I love you all. And to all, a Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and the best 2021 year of all times. It's ours. Allow it.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another great show from Law of Attraction Talk Radio. If you'd like to comment on tonight's show, send an email to jules@loaradionetwork.com and have a great week.